Hello and welcome. We're joined today by Fox NBA analyst Chris Broussard and the founder of the Big Lead, Jason McIntyre. Let's start in the NBA, where the new-look Cavs had a great debut, dominating the Celtics in Boston last night. LeBron looked re-energized, playing alongside new teammates George Hill, Jordan Clarkson, Rodney Hood, and Larry Nance Jr., who combined for 49 of the team's 121 points. After the game, LeBron sounded very upbeat.
It's a good start, man, it's almost like the new guys who've been here. Started with George and, his on-the-ball pressure and, him just running the team. And then the three guys came off the bench. Jordan is, he's ready to score at any point in time, but his composure was great. Rodney plays with so much poise, and Larry was just controlling the perimeter, saying great pick and rolls, got him a lob, got him a dunk. It's a good start for the new guys, a good start for all of us, with our revamped team so far.
I thought the spirit was different, so I didn't know what the outcome would be, but I know we would compete and play hard, move the basketball, move bodies, and those guys were flying around, and it was good to see.
Cowherd, obvious question, prisoner of the moment, are we all? Are the Cavaliers a threat to the Golden State Warriors?
No, but they're closer, and to me, when you're going up against a dynasty, be close. And Steph has an injury history. KD has an injury history. There is no question, offensively, separated from Boston. I mean, they got 7 guys on this team now. Jeff Green, Kyle Korver, Rodney Hood, George Hill, LeBron James, Kevin Love. They can score 20. They have 7 guys that can do that. I don't think Boston does. And I think they've closed the gap on Golden State. And the thing is, LeBron just has to believe we're close. LeBron doesn't have to think we're favorites. LeBron, before that trading deadline Wednesday, didn't feel we're close. So it was the disengaged LeBron. When I watched that yesterday, I'm like, oh, he's all in. So do I think they're a threat to win the championship? No. But if you're closing the gap, cross your fingers, those Golden State Stars have a history of getting injured.
I'm prepared to look very stupid. I'm prepared to look stupid. I think they're a threat. I think they can win the championship. And I know next week I may regret these comments. They may lose 3 straight, who knows. And I'm going off one. But, yeah, and I'm just going to tell you why. Because what you said, they're close. And so if they're close, I'm betting on LeBron. Because when this dude is this kind of happy and joyful and engaged, anything's a possibility. And so if I get into a series, LeBron's going to be the best player, period, and it's not going to be close. He's going to be the best player. And so when I look at the way they can play defense now, and again, I know that was just one game, but they were long, they were athletic, they were quick. They just caused problems. They were pesky. That's what you need to be with Golden State. They can switch almost any screen with Golden State.
They're a very good pick-and-roll team this morning.
Yeah.
They were an awful pick-and-roll team last week, and this is a pick-and-roll league.
Yeah, look, I want to see more. I loved, obviously, what I saw last night. You couldn't help but do that. And I think, in theory, they have the pieces to be a threat to Golden State. I wouldn't call them one just yet, but in theory, look, they can defend. They've got the athleticism now to defend Golden State on the perimeter, switch, mostly everything you can with Kevin Love. But Kevin Love at center has really bothered Golden State. 24 points, 12.5 rebounds a game at the center position against the Warriors this season. So, and they will not have the star power of the Warriors. But people shouldn't be fooled into thinking, okay, Warriors have a big 4. You need at least a big 3, if not a big 4. You don't. I'm not saying, look, they've got a big 2. Kevin Love is still a perennial all-star. And if you have the right pieces that fit and guys that know their role, understand their role, and enjoy their role, which I think they do, you might be able to compete with them because Houston has a big 2. They don't have a big 3 or 4, and they got role players that fit, and they're a threat too.
I would agree with everything you guys have said. And it's not just about the new-look Cavs. There has been some slippage on the Warriors side, and everybody's watching LeBron drama and the Rockets ascending. What we haven't seen is right now, Golden State, for the first time in the last 4 years, not top 5 in defensive efficiency.
Yeah.
They are, the last 3 years, they were #1 in point differential, killing opponents, 10-plus points per game. They're now 3rd, surprisingly. Like, it's little things, the turnovers, turning on social media and seeing everybody say you're a lock to win the title. Jeff Van Gundy announces games and calls it the Warriors' invitation. At some point, you're going to let it bother your game. You can't quantify complacency, and that's what's happening with the Warriors. Just as the Cavs get better, it's definitely tight. I would say, yes, the Cavs are a threat.
You said something on my show today. Wade and Rose were just not players. They could say they were going to be role players. A lot of guys can say a lot. But they got $50 million in the bank or $100 million. You do get the sense with Nance, Clarkson, George Hill, Rodney Hood, they're like, oh, yeah, I'm Robin.
Yep.
He's the man. You know, we talked about this. Think about Isaiah Thomas, Jason. So Isaiah Thomas was coming off a year he scored 29. He didn't see himself as Robin. He's like, well, I'm a better pure shooter than LeBron. So he walks into that locker room. He's calling out Kevin Love. George Hill, who's as good as any of these players, comes in and says, oh, no, I'm Robin, and owns it.
And we're all Robin.
Yes,
just me.
And I think that goes a long way with LeBron then saying, I want to elevate you.
Your point about a big two, I disagree with. I think they have the chosen one, and that's enough. And everybody
you
else.
don't even think Love is a legit second star?
I think he somewhat, but I think he needs to fall right in line with George Hill and everybody else. They have Batman. And again, if Batman is this energized, this happy, this joyful, Chris, you lived it in Cleveland the first time around. You saw him take Eric Snow and a lot less than what he has now, all the way to the finals.
I was going to say, this team is different because those teams were great defense, limited offense. This team has offensive potential and defensive potential, but it is similar. I'll say this, too. Golden State, the 2 times they won the title, they had very easy roads through the West because everybody was banged up, right? The one time they lost to Cleveland, they had a hellacious time just getting out of the West because it was 3-1 down to OKC. I think second round, if they meet OKC, I don't know if Minnesota can give them a battle, but OKC can make it not only a tough series physically, but emotionally. Kevin Durant back in Oklahoma, Russ Westbrook. Then you get in the finals and you got to face Houston, who could make it tough. They could be a little bit banged up.
The Warriors this year are 1-4 against OKC and Houston. That's a minor thing, but the other guy, we're not talking about Andre Iguodala. He got $18 million in the offseason. He's shooting 23%. Meanwhile, the Cavs now have Jordan Clarkson, George Hill, these young athletic guys coming off the bench. Listen, Warriors bench is looking suspect.
If you just look at the names on the Cavs roster this morning, there are, you would admit, 7 guys you're like, if I told you George Hill had 20 tomorrow, or Kyle Korver, or Jeff Green, or LeBron. Like, offensively, do the Warriors have 7 guys?
No.
They don't. So that's where I do.
I think offensively, I still would put
yes,
the Warriors
they have the higher-end guy. Now, after half of a season struggle, Cleveland seems to have sort of reoriented their locker room overnight. As we just said, George Hill called LeBron Batman and said, quote, we'll be all the Robins. With the team appearing to be back on track, the Cavs look better positioned to lure LeBron back this offseason to Cleveland. Whitlock, ideally, do you think he'll stay there, or do you think it's the good move to stay there?
I think he should stay there. And I think if he sits back and really evaluates who he really is, again, he's Batman. And he doesn't need, even going down to Miami with Bosh and Wade, there was a process. There was a whole getting to know each other and figuring it out, and it was very painful. Again, I don't think down in Miami they reached their full potential. They got 2 titles. And then so you come back here to Cleveland and you're trying to share with Kyrie Irving. That didn't work out for the long haul. Kyrie Irving left. This is the kind of team that LeBron needs. He is the unquestioned leader. These guys will all fall in line behind him, and they're talented. They can make shots, and he's the best shot creator other than Wilt Chamberlain or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in terms of just creating space on the court and freeing up other people. And Shaq used to do it as well. There's certain guys that just create. We've never seen a shot creator and space maker that can do all the things LeBron can do, surrounded by the. I wouldn't leave this. I wouldn't.
Listen, ideally, none of us would leave our hometowns, but we do because there's commerce elsewhere. I would have loved to have grown up in a town, played high school football, and stayed there. That's like 12% of the population can do that. Ideally, he should stay in Cleveland. But the way pro sports is, and, you know, the NBAs tend to be a glamour league, and the Miamis and the LAs, I will say this. If he won a title after Kyrie left,
Like this year, or you mean?
Well, I mean, in the next 2 years, if this collection of guys won a title, even if Steph got hurt, KD got hurt, wow. Like, we're all talking about him losing finals. If you came back to Cleveland, won a title, Kyrie leaves, and Boston still can't beat you, 20 years from now, we're sitting at lounges and bars going, that, MJ didn't do that.
No, you're right. These are the things, if you really want to catch that ghost in Chicago, the platter can't just be sitting there for you and you go to the most talented team and win it. If he stayed in Cleveland and they did win against this all-time great Warriors team, that would mean more than going and playing with Paul George and the Lakers and winning it. And here's the thing else. If you go to the Lakers, guess what, LeBron? You better win it. The Lakers don't get excited about getting to the second round or going out in the conference finals. Every other player saves Elgin Baylor, Jerry West, Shaq, Kobe, Kareem, Magic, Wilt Chamberlain. They all won titles with the Lakers. So they delivered. If LeBron James might be better than all of them, goes there and doesn't deliver, then that could be a mark on his legacy. He does not need to look at it like, I'm tired of getting to the finals and getting beat. There's an achievement in getting the 7 straight finals, even if the East is weak. Make it 8, 9, 10, whatever it is. Because we've seen only 4 teams in history have gotten to 4 straight finals. Teams. We're talking one individual to 7 straight. You see the Warriors. You mentioned the Warriors. The mental fatigue, the frustration, Draymond getting technicals, Steve Kerr, Kevin Durant getting technicals. They're getting exhausted by the 4th straight run. LeBron, it's an achievement to go to 7, 8, 9 straight finals. He needs to think about that, even if you lose.
Woo, you guys really, all of a sudden, LeBron's got to stay, huh? I just keep coming back to this.
Take off your Lakers jersey before you say something.
I just keep coming back to this. If he leaves and doesn't win a title with the Lakers, it's a black mark. If he stays and feuds with Dan Gilbert and doesn't win, it's also a black mark. He can't win here. So that's why I think he ultimately will feud with Dan Gilbert again, and I think he's got to get out of Cleveland.
Where to go, though? Where?
I'm still on board with the Lakers. I do believe that is the best situation.
Even if he never gets back to the finals?
I don't think it necessarily matters. Staying in Cleveland, you said if he stays there and wins without Kyrie, and what if he doesn't? What if Jordan Clarkson turns into a pumpkin in the playoffs and the spotlight's too big for Rodney Hood? Then what? LeBron's going to stick around with those guys? Because they can't, there's no avenue for them right now to get another superstar like you said Kevin Love is.
Well,
they can't get one.
My thing is executing his vision, his big vision, helping Akron, empowering the guys he grew up with, bringing championships and respect to Cleveland. Now they have this general manager, Kobe Altman, that he could help empower and make someone important in the NBA. If LeBron really wants to execute his vision, Cleveland is the perfect place to do it. I just go back to, again, he doesn't get along that well with other superstars when they're on the same team. Again, the whole thing in Miami eventually fell apart. Obviously, it fell apart with Kyrie. Chris, you would know better than anybody. The LeBron James we saw yesterday reminds me of the LeBron James in those first 6, 7 years in Cleveland. And to me, even though he didn't win titles, the happiest LeBron was when he was playing with his guys in Cleveland and they were taking fake
You know
pictures.
what else? Those were very good Cleveland teams. They won 66 games and then 61. There was a big 3 in Boston that was great.
Right.
All right. There was an Orlando team with Dwight Howard and a bunch of shooters that was really there's nobody like that in the East to stop them from getting to the finals. So look, I will say this. LeBron should see if this team is close. We think they're close. If they go to the finals and lose to Golden State and say a good 6-game series, that's close enough. Because remember, you're going to get a top pick. Who knows who that top 5 or 7 pick could be? And then you might be able to get other players. If they're close, I think you should say. If they get blown away again,
just remember the guy you always compare LeBron to, Magic Johnson, is sitting over here as an big dog, has a partial owner with the Dodgers. If that's LeBron's next phase, as you like to say, go into moguldom, right? At the end of his career, the Lakers is the place.
He's doing pretty well.
He's doing all right. He's doing all right in Akron.
All right, coming up, long gone Boston Celtics legend